Alright, so this is the truck that we're filming the video about, and the title is my lifted Tundra is actually a Hooptie. It's a Hooptie in disguise. So yeah, there's no doubt this is a really clean truck, a really nice truck. It's lived a pretty mellow life. So I would say that not even a week goes by where someone doesn't stop me. I'm getting gas or something and somebody says, that's like my dream truck right there. Oh, I wish I could afford a truck like that. And then I watch them go get into like a newer Honda Accord, and I think to myself, you know, they could have this truck for the price that they paid for their Accord. A lot of these trucks can easily cost a ton of money, but this one looks like a really expensive newer truck, but it is not. It is a 2012 that I bought certified used. So like I was saying, I bought it certified used, 2012. It had 82,610 miles. All right, and as it sits today, it has 91,639. They wanted 27,991 for it, and I will tell you how I got it for 25 out the door in just a minute, but let's get back to the whole point here. So anyways, where am I going with all this? So where I'm going is, not a week goes by where someone doesn't stop me, or I see somebody at the gas station and they tell me, they say, hey, that's like my dream truck right there that you're driving. And then I watch that person climb into a newer, God, we got something loud. What is this? Oh, it's an old Duramax. Gross. Anyways, so I watched the person who told me this is their dream truck climb into a newer Honda Accord, and I think to myself, you know, they could have had this truck or a truck just like this for the same price. Most people think these trucks are, you know, about $50,000 to get into, but mine looks like one of those expensive $50,000 ones, but I put it together for much cheaper. So it's a really nice truck. I bought it certified used, like you guys saw. It's been almost 3 years, and there's a few things that stick out that are a giveaway to me that this is a little bit of a Hooptie. But to the average person, they think the opposite. Alright, so one of the first dead giveaways to me was that it didn't have a backup camera. I actually had to add that in myself. Interesting though is that these Tundras, most of them come pre-wired for a backup camera. So the plug was actually right back there, just tucked in. So as long as I got a hold of a factory camera, which is in the tailgate, and the mirror, it was just plug and play, but they were very expensive. But a truck like this, I really think it needs a backup camera and the tailgate handle that has the camera in it. So this was actually really easy to install. I took the backing right off the tailgate right there, and the plug was ready to go. So I mean, this just took me a couple minutes to get this put in, but definitely well worth it. I couldn't imagine going a day without the backup camera. I use it every time I drive. So to have a 2012 Tundra CrewMax that doesn't have a backup camera, that is the first sign that this thing is kind of a Hooptie. Let's move on to the second one. And the second issue we got is this driver door. Now, I think whoever owned this thing used to be a bit heavy, because we get some major distress noises from these hinges, and I've tried to tighten them. I don't know if you guys can hear that. So in addition to the hinge being a little noisy right there, this weather stripping right here, this is totally, I didn't notice this when I was looking at the truck, or until probably a week later. I mean, that's weird, and you'd have to replace this entire piece if you wanted to do it. So that was surprising. You know, the seat is actually, for having 91,000 miles, it's actually, I think, in really good shape. The side bolster seems to be really good still. It looks like it's discolored, but it's not. It's just kind of fluffed the wrong way. Having this this is also an indicator that it's definitely a cheaper truck right there, even though I kind of like it. I really do. It has a bunch of cool compartments, and I don't mind that. That's not a big deal. But this weather stripping, you can feel there's kind of like a little bit of a weird dent in here that I don't think is factory, and the hinge is a little strange. And also, I don't know if you can see this. Yeah, you can see it right here. Somebody slammed the seat buckle in the door. There's a few times it's been slammed in the door. If I owned this truck since new, I can tell you that wouldn't have happened. So that's a little hoopty right there, I gotta tell you. Yeah, it's just water. I washed it recently. So next thing that makes this truck stick out is that it's seen its fair share of work in the bed. Maybe a little bit this is from me. I have done a few things with it, but this isn't factory for sure. I mean, that's some use. I mean, there's some rub from the bed liner right there, but this right here, I mean, this thing has moved some gravel. This bed's been put to work before. There's no question about it. I'm sure if any of you guys have like brand new CrewMaxes, they definitely don't look like that in there. Yeah, that's all before I got it. So this thing's worked. And then we get to this whole part, the 91,639. Now, you know, I don't really like high miles. I'd like to hear from you guys. What do you guys think? Is 91 high? I'm sure some people think it is. Other people don't think it is, but I like to stick under 50,000 miles. The 4Runner, I told you guys I had a V8 4Runner before this. It had 64,000 miles. I had an FJ Cruiser before that. I think it had 22,000 miles. I think I had a new Tacoma before that. I think I bought that one brand new, so I only drove it till I had 15,000 miles. So to buy a truck with 82,000 miles, it's some of the highest mileage I've ever had, but it was like, I'm telling you guys, if I wanted to get into a truck like this and I only wanted to spend 25,000 bucks, I was gonna have to make some sacrifices along the way, and that's one of the ones I did, and it hurt because I went to a lot of dealerships and looked at Tundras until I found this truck. When I found this truck, I knew it was the one. I had just gone to dealer after dealer after dealer, and I should seriously be making an entire video just on this subject. I shouldn't be just slipping it in another random video, but let me tell you guys how I got this truck for $25,000 and my secret for getting a good deal at a dealership. So I headed out with 25,000 bucks, but I knew I was going to be looking at trucks that were about 30,000 and then trying to whittle my way down from there. And dealers are real serious. They're specialists. You know, most people head out to go buy a car. Most people I know, I talk to a lot of people heading out to go buy a car, and they always tell me the same thing. You know, I know exactly what I'm doing. You know, watch out, because I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna show them a thing or two about negotiating, and there's just an incredible level of confidence. And then something changes when they get to the dealership. It just doesn't go their way, or they think that, you know, they're going to threaten to walk out and the dealership's going to chase after them. But dealers are a little bit different these days. They won't chase after you most of the time. They don't care. Especially Toyota dealerships and Honda dealerships and successful car companies that are selling a ton of cars. You know, other car companies, they need to chase you down, certain dealerships, but Toyota definitely doesn't need to. So I knew exactly what I was talking about, rehearsed it before I went in there. And so anyways, I take off with my wife and kids. It's like 8 o'clock in the morning on a weekend day, and we go out to Seaside, and there's the truck. I knew it was the truck. It was the one I wanted. It was like a 2012, 40-something thousand miles, white. I was ready to buy it, get it home, you know, and we'd be eating lunch, you know, at a restaurant in 2 hours with the thing all done. We get there, I run up to the vehicle, I tell the guy, you know, this is the one. I open the door and it just reeks like cigarettes. And, you know, when I was younger and stupider, I probably would have thought, you know, oh, maybe I'll still buy it, but no, that was a deal breaker. So I leave. We go to a couple other dealerships in Seaside, nothing spectacular. Go over to Gilroy, drive over to Gilroy, and there's a beautiful Tundra there. Again, all the numbers that I'm looking at, it's like 28,000 bucks. I look underneath the undercarriage. It's a Texas edition. You know, why is it in California in the first place? Undercarriage just looks like garbage, and all the sonar sensors on the back bumper missing. It was so bad. It was so bad. So again, move on from there. Go over to Morgan Hill. Go to another Toyota dealership. They have another one there. It's super clean. Everything's nice, but on the driver door, it looks like at some point somebody took a pry bar and like tried to pry into the driver door. There's like a couple weird pry marks. I mean, again, deal breaker. Leave. Start heading to San Jose. Look at a couple in San Jose. It's the same thing. Either they've been wheeled, super high mileage. I mean, and the ones that are crazy clean, the dealers know they're crazy clean. They know exactly what they're doing, and they're asking top dollar for those ones. It's not like they're going to accidentally have one that's, you know, slid in there that they didn't know. So 3-4 hours later, we get to Dublin. It's almost like 100 degrees outside in Dublin. Dublin's like outside, I don't even know where it's at, a couple hours outside Sacramento. The dealership's pretty cool. It's so hot. My wife said, and you know, we have like a new baby at the time. That's the whole point. It's not like I'm a young guy, you know, and this is my whole life is getting this truck. This is just a tiny little side project of all the other crap I got going on. Is I really wanted to get a CrewMax Tundra, and I had $25,000 with me. I'm ready to do this. And so we get to that dealership. She said, hey, I'm going to stay in the Sequoia with the baby and our 3-year-old at the time, and you can go in there and waste your time. So they had like 9 or 10 Tundras in a row, and I could just quickly, I was just walking by, just scanning them, you know, within 5 seconds. I know I can just pick up on things. I'm not trying to say I'm a genius, but there's so many flaws to look for. If I can just take 1 second to look underneath, or it's so quick. Just give me a 2-second glance inside the engine bay, inside the interior, and I'll have my verdict right there, whether I'm interested or not. So anyways, I see this 2012, this white one, the one I'm sitting in right now, and it's just spectacular. I open it up, it just smells good inside. I open the engine bay, I look underneath. I mean, I don't think this thing has ever even been driven in the rain. Definitely, I got the female vibe, and I looked like they had just been driving this thing to work and back. Anyway, so this is almost 3 years ago. So we're talking like I believe this was 2018. I know that would be 2017, but it seems like a long time ago. 2017, maybe it was late 2017. So it's a 2012, so it's only like 5 years old with 82,000 miles. Man, that's a pretty good amount of miles, especially for this 5.7, because it gets really, really bad gas mileage. So for somebody to put 82,000 miles, that's a lot of money in gas. But it definitely looked freeway. Again, this would have been a deal breaker at different times in my life, but the truck was so clean, and I felt like I had a good negotiating stance. It was a certified used Toyota, so I went in, sat down, started talking to them about it. When it got traded in, they had just put brand new pads and rotors on the front, new pads in the back. It had gotten a full service, new floor mats. I mean, I don't think it even needed any buffing, waxing, any of that. It just was clean, like the day it was made. So we started, you know, negotiating a little bit. They didn't want to take $5 off, and so I presented a piece of paper. This is a good idea. I pulled out a piece of paper, a white piece of paper that I had made up in the morning, and what I had done is I had wrote down 9 dealerships in the Bay Area. You know, Victory Toyota, Stevens Creek Toyota, and I'd written down the names of the dealers, and I'd put directions, just little directions underneath each one of how many miles it was to the next dealer, and a couple little notes. And I told him, I said, listen, I'm going to be actually making a YouTube video on the process of buying this truck, and there are 9 dealerships, and all 9 have a Tundra that I'm interested in. I have $25,000 cash, and I believe that I'm going to make a fair offer on a different truck at every single one of these dealerships. And if it doesn't work out, I will come back. Okay, so have faith in me. I'm going to try this out after here. I'm going to this other dealership. They have a really nice 2011. You know, and I'm just making up numbers. They have a really nice 2011, you know, with 56,000 miles. I'm telling them, you know, 82 is a little high for me. I'd prefer not to do it. You know, I was looking for a different color besides white, even though white's actually what I wanted. And I said, listen, I will be back if none of them will negotiate. I'm going to put down a really fair offer, and if they don't go for it, then I'll be back in a week, and we'll make it happen, because, you know, I really like the truck. It's not the one that I really want, but we'll see. And, you know, they tried to play hardball, because, you know, it was 27 something, so they were claiming 30 out the door, a little bit over even with sales tax and license and all that. and I'm hitting them for 25. So they're trying to tell me, hey, if we do 25 out the door, that means we're actually selling you the truck for about 22 and a half. So with the 2,500 in sales tax and all that, you know, so they're telling me, you know, they're barely going to survive. You know, they're not going to be able to feed their families if they do this deal, which I know is total BS. I can't even imagine. They probably gave the lady $17,000 the week before on a trade-in on this thing, and they sold her on a new one probably, so they're hitting her from both sides. Anyways, so I present my case, and I said, you guys are an awesome dealership, you know, and I go to leave, and they run out and say, you know what, let's do 25,750, let's do whatever. Anyways, then the guy says, hey, does anybody else in your family want a Toyota? And I said, yeah, my mom's really interested in a new RAV4. And the guy said, hey, I'll tell you what, you shake my hand, and when your mom buys that RAV4, she buys it from here, I will sell it to you for $25,000. And I said, all right, cool. It was a really good experience. Wrote up the paperwork. I was out of there really quick. We ran into our first problem when we walked outside to take delivery of the vehicle. They only had one key, one fob, and this is a key that has a chip in it. So I was a little bummed on that. That was the first thing, and I told him I wasn't happy about that. It was going to be a couple $100 key, but you know, I guess this was the first step of getting a used vehicle or whatnot. This is the kind of things you run into. You think better of a certified used Toyota, but that is what it is. So anyways, I bring the truck back to Santa Cruz, and probably in about a week, like I've said in my other videos, I knew I wanted to put a lift on it, wheels, tires, tint the windows, exhaust, change out all the lighting. I knew I wanted to add the backup camera to it. At that time, I did not know that this truck was actually pre-wired for the backup camera. So I think I probably that night ordered the mirror and the camera itself, and that was very expensive. But this is a $25,000 truck. Now, it would be fair to say that with the sales tax and all that stuff, that it's actually a $22,500 truck, because it's right, $2,500 was sales tax licensing on this thing. So I've probably put 8 or 10,000 in it since I got it. So I'm not going to say that you can get it how it sits today for 25,000, but by no means, this truck really draws a lot of attention, and people think it's a really expensive, nice truck, and it's not. I mean, it is, but it's not. I don't really like the miles, even though it's a Toyota, and the 5.7 has absolutely no weak points. You know, let me know in the comments if you guys disagree. The transmission's bulletproof, engine's bulletproof. These trucks they're unstoppable. This is a really nice truck. One thing that I did do right after I got it was also pre-wired for so this thing right here was also pre-wired, and so I read that if I just went and bought the buttons, that they would work, and it would change some stuff up here in the display. It would give me how many miles till empty, some other stuff, but it actually did nothing. It did illuminate, so it does look in the right spot, and it actually changes from Fahrenheit to Celsius on the outside temperature, but that is it. So so a couple years ago, it was a little bit more expensive to get a hold of the 14 or newer, but I'm okay with this model. I actually really like the 7 through 13s, and one thing that they have that the other one, the 14 and newer, do not have is the reclining rear seats. Now, again, in my other videos, you've noticed that they can't recline that much on this side because I have the 212s back there, but I think the reclining rear seats is absolutely the coolest thing. The 14 and ups do not have that. They have a seat that the bottom flips up, and there's some storage underneath. Does nothing for me. I actually think it was cheaper to do it like that. I think it was expensive to run a whole mechanism on the back, and so they changed that. Another wacky thing about the 14s is they actually got rid of the grab handle on the 14 and up Tundras. Everyone, if you want it, you have to go buy it, and most people don't do that. I mean, I would buy it in a second, but most people don't. So anyways, I'm happy with the 12 that I got, but like I've said, it's definitely a cheaper model. Really clean though. You know, the black carpet started in 2012. If you get an 11 or older, it comes with this really light gray, very vulnerable carpet. 12 was the first year that they put the black carpet in, and I love the black carpet. You can see a tiny bit of wear right there. I mean, I guess 91,000 miles isn't too bad, but it's just a little bit of wear. But damn, kind of slammed it there. Anyways, locking gas cap, it's a must-have. I really wish they had a better mechanism on that. I really like my wife's Sequoia, where you pop it from the inside. I really like that. I'm not kidding you guys. That lady right there with the dog just stopped and asked me, "Hey, is that a brand new truck?" I swear to you, I stopped filming for a split second, and she stopped and said, "That truck is gorgeous. Is that brand new?" No, it actually is a 12 with 91,000 miles on it. Yeah, so I'm telling you guys, you think I'm making it up? And no, people stop me every day. They said, that is my dream truck right there, but I can't afford it, so I'm going to go buy a brand new Accord or something. But no, you can go buy one. Just go get a cheaper, older, clean one. You can do this to it. That brings me to something else I wanted to say. So I've had this thing for almost 3 years now, and that is a really long time for me. I mean, really long time. I'm dying to buy something new, you guys. And I've mentioned in a video 2 videos ago that I really want to get a new Tundra, and I know they're coming out with a 2021 really soon. Not really soon, in like a year. I'm hoping but the Sequoia's old, the 4Runner's old. I mean, everything in the Toyota lineup is old right now. Everything. So there's nothing out there for me to buy. And obviously, to sell this thing to go buy a 2020 Tundra is ridiculous. I'm not going to go do that. So, but I just want to keep working on this thing. I want to keep doing stuff to it, but I really want to go get a new one. So, what should I do? Should I wait out for the new Tundra? I mean, part of me is like, go get a new 4Runner. I've never had one of that model 4Runners, but God, I really like having a truck. I really do. I use this thing. I just built a big old shed in our backyard the other day. I brought it home in this thing, which was crazy, and then took all the crap to get rid of all the boxes and stuff in this thing. I mean, I couldn't have done it without this truck. Let me show you the shed real quick. It's pretty cool. This thing is cool. We're just running out of room here, so I just built this big old shed. Just a little bit more room. Just random stuff that we didn't have any room for. Love this thing. Definitely couldn't have done it without the truck, though. Love having a truck. Alright, so back to the truck. So I keep forgetting to mention a couple things. First off, this is just a chrome bumper right here that I plastic coated. It's been on there for a couple years, held up really well. I did replace the rear bumper with a color matched one. So they used to be chrome. Did the lift, wheels, tires, exhaust, tent, backup camera, tow mirrors. I'm sure a couple little other odds and ends, but that's pretty much it. Just started with a really clean one, a little bit of high mileage, but it's a Toyota. Any other truck I'd not recommend going with anything with high mileage. I also saw a YouTube video last night that another Tundra hit the 1,000,000 mile mark, and it started having some transmission problems at 737,000 miles. Have you guys ever even heard of a Chevy truck or Tahoe transmission going over 200K? I've never heard of it. It's like a myth, a legend, that there's maybe one out there, but I highly doubt it. Anyways, so this is the truck. Let me know what you guys think. Is it a hoopty? Am I being too harsh? Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. Have a good day. You know what I was just thinking? No video would be complete without showing off the engine. I told you guys that I just need to take a peek at an engine bay and tell me a lot about a vehicle, and this thing says a lot. One thing is, I think I paid a little bit more because it's a certified used Toyota vehicle, which means it's never been in a wreck, or I don't know, just some wacky nonsense, but it does mean something, and you can tell. I haven't done a lot. This is just how it looked. So yeah, I mean, it looked like this when I bought the truck almost 3 years ago. 82,000 miles I had it on at the time, and it was clean. This is even the battery that was in it when I bought it. I haven't had to replace the battery I really think this is one of the greatest engines of all time. It's just undisputed. Especially, it's really held up through the years because, you know, for the truck coming out in 07 and to have almost 400 horsepower, it's really good. So I love the 5.7. Let me know what you guys think. But anyways, that's the engine bay. Nothing weird going on under here. A couple rock chips, but again, I washed the truck earlier. That's what that is. Yeah, that's some discoloration. I've seen some things. Factory headlights though, and these things are really expensive too because they have that option with the self-leveling. There's that switch inside where they can move up and down. Do people know about that? I don't think there's another truck out there that has that. And again, so even though I'm calling this thing a Hooptie, it has this right here, this one. And right now I have them set all the way down. Usually I've had to manually adjust headlights on vehicles before, especially when I put really bright LEDs like this thing has, but you can just use that button. There's little motors on each headlight, and I think like the work truck or the cheaper model, even though this is a pretty cheap model, it's just the SR5, but the real cheap ones, they don't have that option, but or that feature. But anyways, I really like that. All right, I'm done. Have a good night.